a lot, kids.
Yeah.
Here's Reverend Bill with your God Call.
What if you had the recipe for perfection? What if you knew what the ingredients were that, when mixed together in a particular way, would yield something that is absolutely perfect, joyous, wonderful, delightful, and harmonious? What if everything that were required were already available to you right here and right now? Would there be anything stopping you from heading into the kitchen and mixing up a big batch of fabulous? Well, it's all at hand. You can do it right now. So set the intention to bring about something wonderful and start mixing.
Start mixing. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Sing it with me. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. How about thank you for my friends, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Are you singing? My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. How about my health, my radiant health? Come on. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. One more, we're going to sing life, my glorious life. Let me hear you. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. That's right. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Glorious, my glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. All right, we have to bring it around one more time for this day, Spirit. Come on. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day.
Oh, thank you so much, Amy Steinberg. And good morning, New Thought, Philadelphia. Here we are. It is autumn. In case you haven't noticed, we had the equinox. That was yesterday. That's that tipping point where we tipped over from summertime into autumn. So we are on the fall, or we are falling into winter, or we're just getting ready for pumpkin spice everything. You know, just, take whatever speed you are working at yourself. You know the rules when we're meeting on Zoom. Keep yourself muted except when we're sharing or when we're going to just make a racket together. Let's do that. Go ahead and unmute yourself so that you can repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
Myself to joy.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to the awareness of good surroundings.
I open myself to awareness of surroundings.
I know that love is here and now.
I know that love is right now.
And so it is. On that mute button one more time, and I will remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you to our Zoom today, wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you. And welcome home. We don't require that you believe anything. There's some convenient stuff that if we kind of agree on it, then we have some common language. We believe that there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. The way we like to say it around here, your new life begins with a new thought. Really easy to say, can be a little bit complex, and there's a lot of nuance as we get into execution on that. But your new life begins with a new thought. If you have any extraneous electronic devices hanging about your person or in your room or wherever it happens to be, go ahead and put it on shush for the next hour or so that you don't get distracted. And Lord forbid, if you're in the middle of sharing, have it ring or gong or boing or buzz or whatever it's going to do. Because we get to turn our attention inwards. We get to focus on ourselves and each other and be in this spiritual community together. I'm Bill Marchiony, the spiritual director at New Thought Philadelphia. Our music today is by the amazing, the illustrious, the visiting Memphis, Tennessee, Amy Steinberg. Ooh, it is wonderful to have you with us. And we have dueling practitioners. They're not actually dueling, they're dual practitioners for today. It's Carolyn Nixon, RSCP, and Joe Catanzaro, RSCP. And Joe is going to begin our celebration the way we begin everything, with a practical prayer. Joe?
Good morning. Take a breath, settle in. Join me in knowing that there is one love, one power, one intelligence, the presence that indwells each and is individually expressing itself in us and out of us. So we come together today to demonstrate that, to share in each other's creativity. So I know that today's celebration brings us joy, harmony, reminds us of our creativity, it's love, it's awareness of all of that good. So for this radiant, glorious, healing day, I am grateful. I'm grateful for each one here and everything we bring and everything we share. So I allow it, I accept it, and I claim it for each one here. And knowing it is so, I release my words of the law that always says yes. And so it is.
And so it is.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe Catanzaro. So the reason that we do a prayer is because it actually changes the experience we're having in life. It creates a result. So when they're working, when you're getting a result, we like to kind of boast on it and share it, and not just have the, oh, woe is me, I need this different thing in my life, but actually say, hey, this is coming about. And as we've mentioned, the prayers are not to fix something that's broken. It's to get more into alignment with the truth of the prosperity of that infinite good that is always available. So who has a prayer work story that you would like to share? You can raise your hand and wave it here, or you can go digital. Chris Weber, and then Joe Catanzaro.
So I have two prayer work stories. One is going down the homeschooling journey, which is just an incredibly different new path. And there are moments where it was really stressful trying to figure out curriculum and time management, and Bill and I being on the same page with Liam, and like everything is going on, there's hiccups that come along, but they're not they're manageable, and I'm not getting completely stressed out and going with the flow despite all the major changes. So that's really a prayer work story. And the other one is, I don't even know if we've started the 90-day challenge. I know I signed up for it, but the minute I signed up for it, started, money popping up, whether it's money found on the road or, getting a check in the mail that I wasn't expecting, and just like gift certificates and all kinds of stuff. Just kind of, I'm like, it's not Christmas, it's not my birthday, it's not anniversary. So like I said, I don't know if the tithing challenge officially started yet, but I'm officially reaping those rewards. So that's my prayer work story.
I love when that happens. Thank you, Chris. And congratulations. Joe.
So last Sunday, I found out that the city had posted signs in my neighborhood starting Monday the 21st until, or whenever Monday was, for like 4 or 5 days, that they were going to be digging up the streets. Every street in my neighborhood where you can usually park only on one side. Didn't say why, just, no parking between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Blocking off streets. So I thought, oh, wonderful. Where's everybody going to go? And where are they going to park? And I just turned it over. I'm not going to worry about this. I have enough other stuff to worry about, God knows. So I am not going to worry about this. There will be a parking spot. And every single day this week, I was able to park. Sometimes I had to walk a little bit, but it wasn't bad. And it was like, it was great. It was great. I just turned it over and the work is done for a while. I think they're going to resurface everything, but I really don't know why. But at any rate, when they want to fix everything, we'll do the whole process again.
I love it. And yeah, it's none of our business what's going on underneath the street. Yeah. Thank you, Joe. I actually have a little bit of a prayer work story, and we were in conversation probably in the last couple of weeks, and I'm pretty sure it was Jesus, might have been somebody else, mentioned this book, New Horizons by Ernest Holmes, and I remarked that I did not have a copy of that book, and then unbidden, it showed up as a delivery from Abe Books this week. So whoever it was that gifted that to me, thank you. I am in deep gratitude. If you want to say who you are, then you can go ahead and wave and acknowledge yourself. And if you want to just be mysterious, then you can do that. But the prayer works part of this, was that you, Jesus?
No, it wasn't me. I was going to say, who is not it? It was for me. It had to be somebody else.
Okay. The fun thing is that tucked into that book is this little pamphlet called The Magic of Tithing. And of course, one of the things that we're talking about today is we're getting ready for the tithing challenge, which officially starts next Sunday. And first of all, this pamphlet is awesome. And it's one of those great little tiny things that you can read in 10 minutes about tithing. And Emmett Fox is so clear about that. So it was a little bit of a gift that showed up on top of a gift. So I'm delighted for that. Anybody else? In that case, let us move along to the announcements. If you have your kazoo nearby, go ahead and grab it. And Carla Ann is going to do the announcements.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. This autumnal information is on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and in our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up on the website so we can keep in touch. We host a 15-minute meditation on Zoom twice every day. They're inspiring, fun, and quick, and everyone is welcome. Episode 120 of Reverend Bill's Practical Prayer podcast, When Prayers Don't Work, is When Prayers Don't Work. It's really wonderful. Get it where you get your podcasts. Watch the live recording on New Thought Media Network on Monday at 1 p.m. Follow our social media on Instagram, Facebook, Insight Timer, and YouTube, and join the 1,639 spiritual adventurers in our group on meetup.com. The Power of 8 Intention Circle meets on Zoom every Monday at 6:30. The Women's Circle meets on Zoom on the first Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. The 90-day Tithing Challenge begins on October 1st. It includes a guarantee that this powerful spiritual practice will transform your life and get your money back. We'll have a short question and answer after the celebration and a dialogue about prosperity principles on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Our Artist Way Creativity Group is on Sunday evenings beginning October 1st, led by Dina. It's open to all. There's pre-work before it starts, so register now. We are grateful for your tax-deductible donations by Zelle, Cash App, check, PayPal, Venmo, or credit card, or debit card. Thank you to the team that makes our Zoom celebrations work and has fun doing it. To join the joy, contact lovely Sandy. Next Sunday is Sacred Ground. Reverend Bill will be at Unity Village, home to the Silent Unity Prayer Vigil, which has been going continuously since 1890. We'll let that remind us that we are always on sacred ground. Live original music by Jeff Lesser. Breen will be receiving a Bachelor of Religious Studies degree in the Emerson graduation ceremony at the ANTN retreat. Yay, Breen! Register to join on Zoom Thursday, October 5th at 5 p.m. ANTN Thought Leader Thursday is this Thursday at noon with Dr. Michelle Willington. Reverend Bill and the practitioners are available for professional sessions by appointment after the celebration. Jesus is available for a quick miracle in a minute. We'll leave the Zoom meeting open for discussions of prosperity, tithing, and the challenge. That's it.
Thank you so much. And that was, there's a typo in there. Joe, I believe, is scheduled to be doing the miracle in a minute after the celebration. So you can contact Joe for that. We'll have some more details about the tithing challenge. And stay around after the celebration, and we'll do a short Q&A, as was mentioned previously. Lots and lots of fun stuff that is going on. And I'm looking around, seeing if I see any first-time faces. I'm not seeing any first-time faces, but I'm seeing some glorious bright lights of God's divine love shining forth as all of you guys and all of us. So let us bless ourselves and each other. Go ahead and rub your hands together. Feel the warmth, feel the love, feel that connection. Now share it and feel it coming right back at you. We are, each of us individually and all of us together, that bright light of God's love. I'm so grateful for the way that the love is collected and the light is shining and the good is unfolding. So it is. Amy's going to sing another song for us. And while she does, go ahead and switch up the gallery view, and we can make eye contact with the people we're in community with. Amy?
Here's a classic one, y'all. You can sing it with me. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah. Say hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I won't be able to hear you, but I'll be able to see you. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Singing and praying we sing. Singing and praying with my mind stayed on spirit. Singing and praying with my mind stayed on spirit. Singing and praying with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. One more time. Hallelujah, 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 Party on Zoom.
It is a party. Thank you, Amy's time. Oh, wonderful. Karen Judd, zooming in from Dover, DE, is going to lead us in the flames of faith.
We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from one power, love, intelligence that we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our sacred diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love. So it is.
Blessed be. The reading today comes from New Thoughts for Today, which is written by the members of Anton, and the reading is going to be conducted by Jane Rourke.
Good morning. So today's reading is entitled A Day of Rest. There is virtue in work and there is virtue in rest. Use both and overlook neither. That's a quote by Alan Cohen. I have noticed that the two most common responses I hear to the question, "How are you?" are fine and busy. It seems like our world is always busy. Busy doing what, I wonder? I think sometimes we are busy because we are uncomfortable with the quiet. We might always be busy because we were raised to not be idle, whatever that means to you. Rest and rejuvenation are vital for our well-being. In Scripture, God proclaimed the Sabbath as a day of rest. When we take the time to rest, we are recharging our batteries, giving ourselves much needed time to bring ourselves back into balance. How many of us have heard and probably even repeated the saying, "You can't pour from an empty cup"? Entering into the quiet, allowing for times of stillness to do what we enjoy to refill our tanks, go on a walk, enjoy nature, read a book, spend quality time with loved ones, take a nap, pray, meditate, whatever calls to you during your time of rest is a gift you give yourself and a gift you give to the world. I know that a day of rest allows me to anchor and center myself with the divine, and from this space, I am eager to re-enter the world again. The affirmation for this reading is, today, I enjoy a few moments of rest. Through resting, I am preparing my heart, mind, and body to enjoy sacred moments with the divine. I am blessed.
There is a garden, dreams come true. Beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows. Beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true. Beautiful garden, that garden is you. line by line. All right. First line is there is a garden. Here we go. There is a garden where dreams come true. Where dreams come true. A beautiful garden. Beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. Where God's grace blooms. There is a garden. There is a garden where everything grows. Where everything grows. A beautiful garden. A beautiful garden where love is sown. Where love is sown. And in this place, and in this place of light and love, of light and love, you can have anything. You can have anything that you're dreaming of, that you're dreaming of. There's a garden, there is a garden where dreams come true, where dreams come true. Beautiful garden, beautiful garden. That garden is you, that garden is you. Look at somebody in the gallery and say, that garden is you. Such a beautiful garden, the garden is you. Such a beautiful garden, the garden it's you.
Thank you, Amy Seinberg. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yom Kippur starts tonight at sunset, Jewish Day of Atonement, and it is an opportunity to have a good sealing in the Book of Life. And the talk today is, how's your cup runneth-ing? And there are actually a couple of different places that our cups and the way that our cups are filled show up. And they're in the Old Testament, which is kind of interesting. And the point that I'm making with all of this is that there's you and there's the infinite universe. And if there is something that is not showing up in your life the way that you'd like it to, if there's something that feels like it's missing, it's probably not because the universe can't come up with it. There's something that's keeping it out of your experience. And the way that we bring newness into our lives is the law of attraction. By embracing something, by getting into the energy of whatever it is that we want to be experiencing. And the law of attraction is counterintuitive. It's admittedly counterintuitive because the way that the world looks around us, it's very transactional. We do something, we get something back. We do something, we get something back. And with the law of attraction, when we want more love, we don't do something to get more love. When we want more peace, we don't do something to get more peace. Because what it looks like in our sensory transactional way is that I'm going to go out and get some love. I'm going to go out and get some peace. And what happens is when we want more love in our life, what we get to do is be more loving, to be that loving presence that we want to be around, that we want to be in the flow of, and setting our energy that way, setting that intention, activates that law of attraction and invites more of that experience of love into our lives. The people who are already in a relationship with magically become more loving. The people who we haven't met, who are coming into a relationship with us, bringing more of that love into our lives. And by being more loving, by being more gentle and open and appreciative of the good that's showing up as people, we tend to cultivate that goodness and invite more of it into our lives. And the people who aren't going to be treating us in a loving way find that they're busy doing something else. Perhaps they've been annoying people. They've been annoying you. And when you get into that loving space where you're inviting more love into your life, they're not interested anymore because it's not nearly as much fun to try and dump on you as it is to go find somebody different that they can go bring their non-loving expression to. And it's okay. That's the way the law of attraction works. Everything finds its own attraction. When we want to have more peace, it's not to go out and make people be more peaceful. You need to be more peaceful so that I can experience peace. That's not the way that it works. We get to become more peaceful, to invite that experience of peace And then more and more of it shows up in our life. And the same thing happens with prosperity. And prosperity is all the ways that good is showing up in our life. In a lot of cases, we use our financial life to define prosperity. But as I have mentioned recently, if somebody has lots and lots of money but doesn't have their health, what they want to do is spend all their money to get their health back, because the health is much more important. The same thing if we're lonely or if we are facing some sort of a challenge with our comfort. The prosperity is in having that experience of fulfillment, of enoughness, of completeness. And the reason that a lot of people think that prosperity is about finances is because of this notion of tithing. And tithing is geared towards giving 10% of our income, 10% of our good to something. And then we get more prosperity back in the form of richness, in the form of money. And the reason that tithing is good is because it works with arithmetic. Because with money, you can actually calculate what 10% is, and you can also calculate what improvement there is in your life when it comes to love or peace or harmony or the other things that we want to have in our lives, health and fitness and vitality. It's a little more squishy. It's a little more difficult to understand how it's going to work. And as an example, in preparation for this talk, I did not queue up the government to have the Social Security Administration send me my statement. But they did this week anyway. And it's got all the stuff. I'm turning 65 next year, which is apparently I need to find new health insurance, but it's going to be easier than it was before, or at least less expensive. But they also are telling me that I can qualify for Social Security and what the schedule is for doing that and how much I'm going to get paid for that. And that's fascinating, interesting. Okay, that doesn't particularly matter to me. But there's also a chart on page 2 of how much I've paid into the FICA system for Medicaid and for Social Security over the course of my life. And I started tithing in 1999. And I remember it because it was a class on tithing. It was called 4T, Tithing of Time, Talent, and Treasure. And the requirement was that we started tithing in that class. And I remember it being dramatic because I started that practice and it was really scary. And then it started working in a remarkable way. And I've talked a little bit about that. But when I look at my Social Security statement, it shows me the year brackets. So there's decades to begin with, like from when I was born until 1980, which is about when I got out of college, and from 81 to 90, and from 91 to 2000, and started doing individual years. And the amazing, awesome, terrifying thing is that in 2006, I made almost as much as I did in the 80s. The entire decade of the 80s, I made almost that much in 1 year. And it was after I had started tithing. And some things changed in there, of course. I was in the radio business, which was notoriously lousy pay, especially for people who wanted to be famous and zany morning show air personalities, as I did. But looking at these numbers, it's really easy to see in black and white. Oh, well, the spiritual practice and the growth and the unfoldment actually works. It actually works. And we can use those numbers as a reminder of how well it's working. But it's also important to do the practice spiritually rather than decimally. So in this little book, The Magic of Tithing by Emmett Fox, which came along with my copy of New Horizons, I just got tucked into it. He starts off by saying, so many inquiries have recently been made upon the subject of tithing, and so much confusion appears to exist in people's minds concerning it, that it seems that a few notes on the matter will be generally useful at the present time. That is true. That was written by Emmett Fox in 1932. So obviously things change because there are still questions about tithing and how this works and what's going on with this. Tithing is not about giving money to somebody. Tithing is a spiritual practice of being in that flow of prosperity. If I am gathering up what comes to me and I'm holding on to it, then it doesn't have the opportunity to move. in Spiritual Economics, one of the prosperity books that I had, and when I got out a stack of prosperity books that I happen to have here, just because they're interesting. In Spiritual Economics, one of the things that Eric Butterworth writes is the notion of currency. So currency is what we call our paper money, and current is also the flow. It is so important to be in the flow. When we have money that comes in, if we let some of it go out, that makes room for more to come in and more can go out. And that is a spiritual principle. We get ourselves to be in that flow, and we can invite more and more and more of that good into our life and into our experience. And that works in all sorts of different areas of our life. It doesn't just work in prosperity. Well, I got an email this week from my mentee and the co-host of the Practical Prayer podcast, Carol Lawrence. She lives down near the shore, and she refers to the ocean as her office because she goes there on a regular basis because she just loves to commune with the office. So she got a note, an alert on her phone that there were riptides, and this was a couple of weeks ago. And that's always exciting because the ocean is interesting when there's riptides and lots of wind and so forth. So she went down to the ocean a block away. She could smell it. It smelled so vibrant, like it was the ocean. She walked up the ramp to the boardwalk. It was spectacular. It was just like an amazingly beautiful dream. The water was so active, is what she said. The sun was really bright. The sounds of the birds over the active waves were wonderful. She forgot that she had two people with her. She got out her phone. She started taking video because she loves to capture this, and then realized, oh my God, the battery is low. And then she starts kicking herself. How did I forget to charge the battery? So she could only record for a few minutes, got a little bit of footage, but was disappointed that she couldn't get more. And she went home. And there's a gift there in being able to be notified and understand that there's this opportunity coming along, and then you go, and then there's not enough battery to be recording. So what's up with that? Well, it's because sometimes the gift isn't obvious. Sometimes the gift isn't obvious. Sometimes as we're tithing, as we're giving, we feel pressure, we feel a challenge, we feel like there's something that might not be working properly for us. And that's where faith comes in. And with our tithing challenge, it's a 90-day tithing challenge. And the idea is not to convince you to tithe. I would love to convince you to tithe. Obviously, Emmett Fox was convincing people to tithe 100 years ago. It's still a good idea. It has always been a good idea. It says in Scripture that it's a good idea. In Malachi 3:10, in the Old Testament, it says, "Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be enough room to receive it. Thy cup shall runneth over," is what it's talking about there. And the idea is do that first, and the good is on its way. And sometimes the good shows up instantly. And sometimes the good might take a little while. So as we open ourselves up to good, more of that good shows up in our lives. More of that flow is happening for us. There are lots of different ways to understand this. The idea is not to tithe decimally, it's to tithe spiritually. It's from that place of giving. We use the decimal, we use the tithing 10% because that's a good guidepost. And the idea, also as expressed in some of the tithing books, is to use that to get started. To use that as training wheels. And then once we're into the spirit of tithing and we're in that flow and we're feeling it rather than just focusing on the details of how to do the dance steps, stop paying attention to tithing decimally. And then at the end of the year, see how close you came to 10%. And maybe it's going to be a little bit more. And some people say, oh my God, more than 10%. How can I possibly afford that? Note, I made almost as much in 1 year as I made in 10 years before I started tithing. So it might have been a good idea to start tithing earlier because I would have tithed more, but I would have kept more. And I would have had a different experience of my own financial prosperity along the way. The idea of the tithing challenge is to get us to start and say it's going to be from the 1st of October to the end of the year. And we have a money back guarantee, which is not usually part of a tithing program. The money back guarantee is if you get into the tithing program and you get yourself to the point where you are tithing spiritually, where you're in the flow, where you're understanding that it's me giving and the universe is giving back, and we're in that law of attraction and it's working. If you do the spiritual part and you find that it doesn't work, that you haven't gotten more good in your life, if you claim it to not be a success, we'll give the money back. New Thought Philadelphia will be keeping track. We have a bookkeeper, Elise. She's wonderful. She'll be keeping track of how much each of us is tithing during the 90-day tithing challenge. And if for some reason it doesn't work, we'll give the money back. Now, you've probably heard about money back guarantees from, automakers and the people who are making appliances or special little gimmicks that you're going to have in your house. The idea behind a money back guarantee, and I've been in the marketing business for a while, is not to give people their money back. That is not the idea. The idea of a money back guarantee is to say, let's take your concern about money off the table, and you can try this wonderful new product or service or opportunity and see how it works in your life. That's the purpose of the money back guarantee. Does that interfere with your faith? Does that interfere with your belief that the tithing is going to work? The way a prosperity practice works, we get into tithing. We give that 10% and we get more back, and we give and we receive, and it continues to go the same way it did with my Social Security statement from the 1980s to that single year. It's not about the amount that we gave. There's so much more coming back in that once we understand the process, we're never going to give that up. Oh my goodness, I can bring more love into my life by letting go of my attachment to being right and be more loving. I can have more peace and more harmony in my life by being more peaceful and more harmonious. By stop looking for people I have an argument with, be more loving, be more open. Instead of saying, yeah, but, I can start by saying, interesting. Even if I think that they're mistaken, I don't need to engage with that level of energy, and the people who are looking for a fight are going to go look for somebody else. So the idea behind the tithing challenge is to learn to tithe joyously, to be in the flow, to accept whatever it is that's coming to us, use that as input so that we can be guided into what's next and what's new. Second part of the email from Carol, which was a week later, she got a similar alert on her phone about the wind and the riptides. Her phone was fully charged, and the only thing that she did was she wore some warmer clothing because she had learned something. Took her usual route to the ocean, and it was much louder this time. She says, that's interesting. She says, as she walked up the ramp to the pier, she saw the biggest, most active wave that she had ever seen. 10 times what it had been the week before. The wind was really strong. The waves weren't coming in. They were crashing and jumping over each other. There was sea foam in the sand, which she had never seen before. The clouds were so low, it was like she could reach out and touch them. It was captivating. She stayed for hours. It's like she and the ocean threw a party, partly because she had missed part of the party from the previous week. They finally, there were about 5 people who were on the pier. They got kicked off because the storm was coming in, and the official said, you have to leave. If her phone was going to not be charged for one of those, it's good that it was for the first one, which served as input for the second time. She did what she did, and she got some input. She got some feedback from the universe. She used that as guidance. So the next time she went, when it was even better, she was even better prepared. It's a give and take. It's a circulation. It is a flow. It is an opportunity for us to be in that flow, to give of ourselves. And in the 4T class that I mentioned, which was a Stratton Smith program, the tithing is of time, talent, and treasure. And treasure is the money. Time and talent. What are you giving? What are you bringing that you are offering up to the world that the universe can double down on and give back to you in even greater supply? I mentioned, got some books here. So here's another one, which is a favorite. This is The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity by Edwene Gaines. And yes, we have taught classes on many of these books. This is Creative Mind and Success by Ernest Holmes, another wonderful book. Breen is going to be unhappy if I do not mention Prosperity by Charles Fillmore, which is a wonderful book. Not nearly the easy read that the Emmett Fox pamphlet is. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which was basically a study. He went out and interviewed a bunch of people who were prosperous and successful and tried to figure out what they had in common. And oh, by the way, This is it. So you can just act as if, do the same things that they're doing, and you get the same sort of result. It says 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And there are lots and lots and lots of them. And you can read as many books on prosperity as you want, and they will all give you a slightly different perspective on exactly the same thing. If you'll recall the law of attraction that I was talking about at the beginning of my talk, when we are activating that law of attraction, whether it's for our financial prosperity or for love or for harmony or for peace or whatever it is that we're looking for in our life, give it first, open up to it, let go of the thought that the good that we're looking for isn't available, and allow it to come in. The 23rd Psalm, the one that starts, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." It says, "Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over." So much good that there is not enough room to contain it. So much good pouring down that we don't have room for it. So the idea is, get a bigger cup. And get a bigger cup. Your cup is big enough. Open up a hole in your cup so the good can continue to flow. And then everyone around you gets some of the good too. How runneth your cup? You deserveth a cup that runneth over. As much good as you can possibly accept and embody, and even more. Get into that mentality, that spirituality of giving. And the universe, that infinite creative power that creates everything, is given right back. We get to go first. We get to go first. Have a spectacular week. The way the tithing challenge works is you can go onto the website and click the button there. Send an email to info@newthoughtphilly.org. There's a card, but you don't have the card that you can fill out and sign. And all you need to do is say, yes, I'm going to do it, and then start tithing. And the tithes that come into New Thought Philadelphia, like I say, we will keep track of. You'll keep track of too. And we'll know what the tithing process has been. So at the end of 90 days, at the end of the year, we will have a new understanding of the wonderful way that this process works. You deserve all of the good, and 10% more, and 20% more, and 100% more. Look at how you can do as much in a year as you did in a decade. That good is available to each of us. Invite in the good. Let the blessings flow. So it is.
Wow. What a beautiful message. Thank you so much. Those of you who don't know me, a way for me to be able to listen to the talk is to be able to jot down notes while the talk is happening so I can write a song based on the talk. So this is Reverend Bill's talk in song now that I just wrote just now. And I hope that you enjoy this one. This is called "How Is Your Cup Runneth-ing?" To get more love, we have to be more loving. To get more peace, we have to be more peace. To get more prosperity, we have to know we are enough. To get more good, we have to learn release. Oh, to get more love, we have to be more loving. To get more peace, we have to be more peace. To get more prosperity, we have to know we are enough. We have to learn to release. Reverend Bill is 65. He's been giving and giving since he's been alive. Yeah. Being in the flow of prosperity means being in the current of currency. And as we get in, we can invite more. Gotta charge up the battery before we hit the shore. Yeah, prove me now. Have the faith to let go, let flow, let spirit watch yourself grow. Get in the flow, get in the flow, get in the flow, you know. Cause to get more love, we have to be more loving. To get more peace, we got to be that peace. To get more prosperity, we know we are enough. We gotta learn to release. Get in the flow. Spirit knows. Oh, let go, detach. Cause guess what? You gotta guarantee you get your money back. Hey, whoa, whoa, let yourself flow. Whoa, whoa, let it go. My cup runneth over. giving this, living this, giving this, being this. Oh, let it flow. Happy Yom Kippur.
This is our opportunity to put what has been said, read, and sung in our celebration or experience in other way into practice. So I invite you now to close your eyes, bring them to a soft gaze, whatever is comfortable and safe for you. And take in a deep breath and know that that breath is your interface, that is your communion, that is your interaction with the divine. And allow that to be so. And when that breath has served its purpose, release it and take in another one and allow that presence to flow through your being, to bring about stillness where there may have been the appearance of unrest, to bring about quiet where there may have been mind chatter or other distractions. Just allow for this flow. Allow this one. Allow yourself to open up your consciousness to receive, to be fed, to be nourished. And as you let this breath go, become aware of this state of calm, relaxed, and peaceful awareness. And take in another breath and allow that flow to continue. Let go of anything that no longer serves you. Surrender to that flow. Rest in the present. Peace, be still, and know. And with every breath, every subsequent breath we take after, our breathing resumes in a way that's perfect. It is this one flowing through us. It is filling us to overflowing in every way. It is rekindling that flame of vitality, of divinity within. And it is up to us to remain open to that flow. And hence this line from Christian scripture, He anointeth my head with oil and my cup runneth over. And I know for everyone, as we continue in this process of surrender, of releasing, of receiving, I know that each of us arrives at that perfect balance point where we are all ready, willing, and able to give, to receive, to engage in our lives in a way that is fulfilling, peaceful, joyous, loving, and harmonious, and to present ourselves and to interact with the world in the same way. And I invite you now to join me in the quiet, to just bask and be in that flow, be in the present. Together we enter into quiet.
There is one power and presence, one love, one intelligence. It is infinite. It is our source. Infinite, like the great waterfalls of the world with their power and constant movement and flow. Infinite, like the billions and billions of uncountable stars in the galaxy. We are part of that. Open to it, allow it. Tend that patch of garden that is ours. Open to the flow. The in and the out, that reciprocal movement. Let go and ground ourselves in knowing that we are enough. For all of this opening and receiving, I'm grateful. I claim all that good that each one of us and allows to fill our cups. For all of this good, I'm grateful. And I release my word to the law that always says yes, and so it is. And now Amy is going to lead us with another song.
This is one we all know. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Sing it with me. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Once more. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. Yeah, I'm so blessed. I am so grateful. I'm so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
Thank you, Amy Steinberg. Thank you so much. I am so blessed. We are each all so blessed. So beautiful. Thank you for that wonderful prayer, Joe, the meditation. Carolyn and Amy for riffing my talk into a song that was spectacular. And I am joyous. My spirit is filled is filled, and my ego is kind of get a nice boost from that one as well. I gotta say, having somebody sing about me. We're up to the point in our celebration where we get to do a little harvest. So we've been growing some ideas for the last hour or so during this whole process. If there's something that's come up for you that you'd like to give voice to, something that is new in your awareness, experience, or intention, go ahead and wave your hand and get a chance to make mention of it. Green.
Well, I just found it fascinating, the synchronicity of the Social Security Administration, because when I did the talk a few weeks ago, my statement had just come. It was sitting on my desk, and I impromptu incorporated it into the talk, and yours was just sitting right there. It just came right when you were about to do the talk. It's fascinating, and it really is neat to see. You know, it's an objective third party record of the increase in prosperity in our lives. It's really cool.
Yeah, and who thought that Social Security helped us write a talk on Sunday morning?
Yeah.
Also a little astonishing, just how did I manage to survive the 80s? That's me. Thank you, Breen. Thank you, Breen. Anybody else? Yeah. Carla-Ann.
Amy, you're just the cutest, and you're very talented. That was amazing, that song, and all your other music has just been excellent. You're adorable, and thank you for the prayers service, Rev, and it's good to see you guys.
Good to see you as well, Carla-Ann. Yeah, wonderful. Sandy.
Well, I was when you were doing the talk about tithing and prosperity, I just noticed two things going on. One is my head resisting, and the other is my heart listening. Both those things are happening at the same time. Then having Amy sing what you said and feeling the energy of that creativity flowing like that just blissed me out, was so beautiful. And then Carolyn, your meditation took me so deep inside. I just felt really transformed. So it was like everything working together. I feel like it's having its way with me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. Michelle, were you unmuting?
Yes, I always felt that every time you give, you receive something, to charity, to whatever. So like investing in something is always the best way to go with anything in life. So I think it's definitely something everyone should definitely think about and go forward with. And thank you, Amy. You're wonderful.
Amy, did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say how cool I love the story of the battery and the shore and not having it and then having it. And I feel like that's the universe always giving, the givingness of the universe, the alchemizing of everything. And I just loved that story, and I just wanted to say thank you for that and wrapping that around. I didn't know where that was going, and then when you got there, it was just so cool to see that experience of lack, right, of no battery actually turned into the abundance of having it charged, right? Like, so it was just such a cool metaphor, and I love story metaphors. So just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah, and it's always, that's when something is not going the way that we want it to be going, and it's frustrating or annoying or painful or difficult, it is often good to remind ourselves that we are not at the end of the story where we can explain or understand or describe the entire story arc. We're in the middle of it. And yeah, there's room for it to get better or for some change to happen. And the reminder that we don't know everything and that there's something more to be known. And there's a next step that's coming along. You know, and Curtis Hopkins said, this too is good, this too is God, this too is for me now, and I demand to see the blessing in it. Demand to see the blessing in it, because there might be. And going, middle of the second act, we don't necessarily know what's happening in the third act. Delia, did you have something to say? Your camera is on. In any case, it's wonderful to see you. Hi.
Thank you. Hi. Yeah, I just when you, at the end, the blessing song, I just wanted to say that in the beginning of the year, when we were giving ourselves new names, and I said I wanted to be a nunna, and my grandson was born last Sunday, so it was pretty big blessing, something very new, and he's adorable and he's perfect. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, and congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thanks.
Cool. Carl-Ann, back to you.
Okay, New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way that you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donate button on the website to make donations by credit card or PayPal or Zelle or Cash App. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on the screen, and we'll say the affirmation together. I live in an abundant universe.
I am an infinite source of good. I am a center of conscious prosperity. I enjoy the
life. I bless my gift.
I share my
gift with gratitude and joy. I know that as I give, I can receive, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you. Such a deep breath. Amy, one more.
All right, y'all. I've been singing other people's stuff. This is one of mine. Thank you for having me, Rev Bill. Obviously, I need to come back more often because this definitely, my cup runneth. There's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, and it's capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, vibrating at a frequency, and there's a power inside that power, inside that power. It's love, 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 love. That's right. Love, 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 love. And you can feel it revealed when an open, broken heart begins to be healed. It breaks like the sky when a long, dark night starts spinning on the wheel of the world. Watch it rise. Out of the ashes comes another day of bright light, shining through your eyes. So much surprise every time we fall in love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Can I see some jazz hands? See, there's a force in the fist, but when unclenched it ceases to exist. It shifts into light. So much freedom releases from the wrist. So insist on bliss, insist on bliss. I demand, I insist on bliss. On love, 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 love. I love, 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 love. And da 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 da. Ba da ba da ba da ba way. There's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, and it's capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, love, vibrating at a frequency, and there's a power inside that power, inside that power. You know what it is, you know what it is, you know what it is. Yeah, now I see the snapping. I see the clapping. I hear the hallelujahs. He's love. Hallelujah. I love y'all.
Awesome. Let us close with another cacophony. Go ahead and unmute your microphone and repeat after me. Of course. I am life.
I am light.
I am
I
am the power.
I am the power.
I am the power.
And my cup runneth over.
My cup runneth over.
So it is.
Amen.
Thank you. Amy, go ahead and turn the original sound from you off. So we can chat. Amy, mute.
Yay.
Thank you all. That was, I am so energized.